And we're live. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure everything's set up fine before we really get started and all of this. I just really want to have a quick talk about some of the dumbass shit we've been seeing from certain franchises um the past couple hours, I would say. Just absolutely maddening stupid shit from the Blazers. Um all right. Okay, let's get started. Um So, with the offseason on the way, I just dropped the Heat video, obviously, and we were talking about the Heat's offseason guide and what they should do. And then seconds later, all I do is I look on Twitter and I see the Portland Trailblazers and Wizards have discussions of trade centering around the number 3 pick and Kristaps Porzingis. Now, it's not because I wanted Kristaps also. Yes, I would love Kristaps on the Heat because it just made sense. It's a stretch four or a guy that can play the drop and allow Bam to play the four or, roam on defense, yada, yada, yada. It's exactly what I wanted, but that's not why. It absolutely makes no sense for the Blazers to even think about making a move like this. I don't know why that this is even in the realm of thinking for these guys to make a move like this. I have a video on the Portland Trailblazers and what they should do coming out tomorrow. But in a sense, you have right now one of the best young scorers in Anthony Simons, who without Dame in the lineup was averaging 27 and 6 or 28 and 6 on 40% from three. Um, you have one of the better young scorers and a hell of a potential for a two-way guy in Shaden Sharp. Uh, why is everybody taking so long to agree on a trade? Shit like this takes a long time to hash out. I'll get into the Wizards and Heat stuff a little bit later in the stream. Right now, I want to center around how stupid the Blazers and Suns are. We'll get into the Heat stuff a little bit later in the stream. But right now, I just want to talk about the Blazers for a second. You have Shaden Sharp, one of the best guys that has extreme potential to be one of the best two-way guards in the league, in my opinion. Insane athleticism, great scorer, was averaging 15 points per game the second half of after the All-Star break, and was averaging like I think 24 points per game in the last 10 games when they shut down Dame and he had the offense, to do what he wanted. He was on pretty good efficiency. But obviously they were losing and he was like a negative 10, but he's a rookie, obviously. You also have guys like Justice Winslow, Yusuf Nurkic, and Matisse Thybulle. All guys that should be on winning teams that aren't going to get you a haul, but would get you some nice, here and there draft capital, maybe no first round picks, but something so at least whenever you do build around whatever you get from the third pick and those guys, and you need some draft capital to get the next star, next all-star to put you over the edge, you have it. Why the hell are we trying to trade the third pick, especially when it looks like Charlotte is about to do something stupid and not pick Scoot for Kristaps Porzingis? Even if you think that Scoot's not going to be available, I'm still taking Brandon Miller over Kristaps Porzingis. In what world does a lineup of Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Shaden Sharp, Jeremy Grant, and Kristaps Porzingis in the year 2023, 2024 going to be contending, especially when Kristaps is on the last year of his contract and he's not fucking staying in Portland? What way does that compete for anything? What you're literally competing to be the sixth best team in the Western Conference. You're definitely not beating the Nuggets. I don't think you're beating the Lakers. You're not beating the Kings. You're not beating. I don't even think you're beating the Warriors with that. I don't even think you're beating the Suns with that. What the hell are we doing? So that's one thing for them. I understand. They're a small market team. They want to keep Dame because it helps sell tickets. At the end of the day, it's a business. It's about making money. But at this point, why can't you put your franchise in a decent position for the future anymore? You're not winning with Dame. There's just full goals at this point. You're just really just letting this process way out. The moment you traded CJ, Dame should have been out right behind him. So there's that. Then you go to the Phoenix Suns side of things. What the hell are we doing with this Bradley Beal thing? We just watched the Nuggets win with one of the most balanced rosters in the NBA, and we're still trying to stack superstars. Hell, KD was better when Brooklyn stacked their superstars together. And now you have an even worse KD, even more injury-prone KD. Devin Booker, who I guess is better than Not Devin Booker's not even better than the first James Harden that went to Brooklyn in the first place when it looked like they were about to win, but he got injured. But it is what it is. And Bradley Beal is not better than Kyrie than when he was on Brooklyn. So you're essentially creating a worse team around KD, in my opinion, in a harder conference now, and you have no type of draft capital, no nothing for the future, and you have nothing to build a bench around them. Even if you do re-sign Chris Paul after you buy him out, and you re-sign him for the vet minimum, Chris Paul's cooked. We already know DeAndre Ayton ain't worth nothing, and you don't even want to include him in the Bradley Beal trade. So that offer doesn't help you beat the Heat in the first place. But even if you somehow do, because I heard that the Phoenix Suns GM or president or CEO is Bradley Beal's manager's son, which is the nepotism scared me for a second until I realized they didn't want to offer DeAndre Ayton at that point, and they have no draft capital because um, the stipend rule stops teams from trading picks in consecutive years, and Phoenix already gave up all their draft capital to get KD, so they literally have none for this Bradley Beal trade. So they didn't. I think at this point for the Wizards, it's just a leverage play to try to get a little bit more from the Heat in their trade. But at the end of the freaking day, what the hell are we doing? Why the hell are we trying to trade everything else you have left in Landry Shamet and Chris Paul and the one draft pick you have left for Bradley Beal to try to stack the deck again with three shot creators again, rarely in the rim pressure, and a bunch of vet minimum guys all over the court? What are we doing anymore? Honestly, let me hold on a second. I just want to see something. Because I swear to God, if this puts them also over the second tax apron, I'm going to be so pissed. Because people are talking about this is the best owner Phoenix has had, or he's trying to let it be known that he's not here to play around. He's doing the stupidest shit ever. You saw what the Nuggets just did, and instead of actually just trying to play off that, you're trying to make the big splash play and kill anything this team even had going for it. Anyway, I already had questions of how you were going to build a roster around these two guys in the first place. So they're 165 million. They trade Chris Paul 30 million. They trade Landry Shamet 10 million. They're still bringing 6 more million, so they're they're already over the first tax apron. They're bringing Devin Booker. I think if you're over the first one, you can't use your MLE, or you can't use buyout players. I forgot. I have to check the new CBA again. But they're not going to be over the second tax apron if you get Bradley Beal, if you trade Chris Paul and Landry Shamet. So, I guess that's not too freaking horrible. But at the same time, you're just doing stupid shit at this point. Like, the Wizards, I can understand why they're entertaining it, because they're trying to get leverage to try and get something from the Heat. Because at this point, if you weren't getting anything from the Heat, the trade would have been Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, 1 or 2 first-round picks, maybe just 1 for Bradley Beal. You're not getting Tyler Hero. Now you can try to get like Hayward and Nikola Jovic and 2 first-round picks for this shit. But even the Heat realize that this shit's just a bluff at this point. And unless the Suns are willing to give DeAndre Ayton in this, they're not beating the Heat's offer. And if they're able to put DeAndre Ayton into this, your starting lineup next year is what? God knows. If the Wizards buy out Chris Paul and they pick him, I don't think they pick up Chris Paul again. It's Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Jacques Landale, and a bench of what the fuck. That's what it is at that point. So I don't understand where the hell they're going with this. Like, genuinely, we see where the NBA is going. You haven't been able to win with a stacked roster that isn't incredibly better than everybody else, unlike Golden State, since the Big Three Heat. That's the last real super team that's able to win anything. The Golden State won with a mega team. I don't even consider that a super team. They won with a mega team, and that's only because they still had Steph on that contract that they gave him when his ankles were still falling apart. So they didn't trust him. He had to sign that contract for, I don't think he was making $20 million a year on that contract. So at that point, it was easier for them to do that and get KD. What the fuck are we doing now? Come on, man. I just hate. It doesn't hurt me because I want the Heat to win, and of course, teams being worse helps us. But I just hate seeing stupidity and seeing what the Blazers could do. I want to see Anthony Simon, Shaden Sharp, and Scoot Henderson all on the court. 3 of the most athletic guards in the league. 3 of some of the probably the most exciting young core in the NBA. I want to see that. I don't want to see Jamie Lillard try to carry another roster with Kristaps Porzingis as number 2 to a play-in spot again. I really don't need to see that. And if anything, that team is one injury from Kristaps Porzingis or Damian Lillard again from missing the playoffs all over again. Like I just don't get it. And on the Heat's case right now, y'all pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie. The fan base for this team is getting on my nerves. Because the last time I checked, you guys were talking. I see a lot of people talking about, no, don't include Jovic. No, don't include Highsmith in this trade. 2 guys that couldn't even crack our rotation in the playoffs. I sort of get Jovic, all right? Because we've seen him gain all that weight. We see the potential there, and he's only like 19 freaking years old. He's young. He has a lot of potential. He could definitely blossom into something good. But there is a very, very small chance that he blossoms into anything better than Bradley Beal. Let's be real here. There's a very small chance he blossoms better than Bradley Beal. And for a team that was averaging, that couldn't even crack 110 points per game consistently, you have a chance to get a top 10 score. You have, okay. You have a chance to get a guy that was averaging 30 at one point. And the last 2 years, he's been injured and he hasn't really been playing 100%. But a guy that can still give you 25 to 27 points per game. Well, I guess on the Heat, probably around 23. Probably what he's averaging now. He's probably averaging on the Heat. We have a guy that can give you consistent offense and be a good playmaker also while giving you some rim pressure. And he's better than Tyler. And you're talking about, no, don't have Highsmith. Don't have Jovic in the trade. Fuck him. At this point, we're trying to win now. The window to win now is right now. And Nikola Jovic and Haywood Highsmith aren't getting any better at the point to actually help us win if it's not Bradley Beal. Like, I don't understand what you guys are going with this. We're acting like Haywood Highsmith is like 21 years old and shows mass, like, improve. Could average 18 and 20 with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Okay, how long in the future is that? Because he's not starting on this team next season. Like, and that's like 2-3 seasons from now. Yes, in a full years. Jimmy's 34 years old next season. We're not winning. The goal is to win now. This is our best chance. Our best chance is not going to be to win with Nikola Jovic. It's not. It's really not. Our best chance is to win now with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. That's our best chance to win right now. If you look at it this way, if you right now, I didn't think the Heat are gonna have to involve Jovic in the trade, but if they did, I wouldn't care. But even if they don't have to involve Jovic in this trade, okay. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I understand where you're going at. But right now, I'm saying, like, I don't even think we're gonna have to even involve him in the trade because right now we already know the Suns. The Wizards are using them for leverage. This is a bluff in the biggest show up. Because even with the offer I see right now for Landry Shamet, Chris Paul, and the 2026 for first round picks, that doesn't beat us right now when we have a solid the 18th pick right now, and we can give them a couple of expiring contracts in this. Like, I don't understand what the hell we're doing with this. They were stupid for giving that no trade clause. But even in the end of it, right now, you trade all of these guys. You don't have to include Tyler in that trade. I hope you know that Tyler's on his way out still. Because now you have Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, and another first-round pick. So we're not going to give all of them to Washington. But you have another 1 or 2 first-round picks to go get a Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby. Now you're telling me right now that a team, because we're probably going to re-sign Gabe. So a team of Gabe Vincent, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam, Bam Adebayo, and coming off the bench you have Caleb Martin. You have who else? You have Kevin Love. You have Duncan Robinson. And whatever. Probably re-sign Omer Yurtseven too because he's not getting any money in the open market. All of that. Do you know? Right now, the Boston Celtics they're about to give they're going to have to pay Jaylen Brown because they look like they want to trade him. And they don't even want to give up Malcolm Brogdon to try to go get Bradley Beal because they're scared of the damn contract. Right now, the only team in the East that has a chance to compete with that team from Miami would be the New York Knicks because they have the draft capital and the assets to actually make a big splash in free agency or to make a big trade. But right now, with the way it looks, the Bucks are a year older with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday again, and Brook Lopez. They're a year older now on a team that already we washed. That showed that they're unathletic and they're old at this point. Even with Giannis being injured, and I get it, there's reasons why we beat them so easily. But again, we can do it again, especially with the new team. We beat Boston already. Now you give us another scorer on this roster. Now you can give us another defender. So now you have Jimmy Butler on Jaylen Brown all game. You have like OG Anunoby on Jason Tatum, and you have Bam as the back line in that. And then you have the Philadelphia 76ers that are going to be ass. Either they're losing James Harden or they're getting back James Harden. Either way, that's just not going anywhere. Come on, man. Get Jovic, get Haywood Highsmith out of here. Build this freaking team the way it's supposed to. I'm going to put the link in the bio because I want to see what you guys want to say about this shit. Because I'm getting annoyed with the way people, with some of the takes people have. So anyone can come up, whether it's the Suns, it's the Blazers, or whether it's about the Heat, you guys can come up. It's probably going to be about the Heat because we always do this shit. But I really want to talk about what the Blazers and what the Suns are doing. So if you want to come up and talk about that too, the link is in the chat. You can click it and get in here. You don't have to turn on your camera. It can just be your voice. I really don't care. But pop in if you want to. But yeah, the Blazers are dumb. Suns are dumb. The Heat right now, Heat fans are dumb. But the Heat are doing the best thing possible. But right now, it's taking so long to get this trade. It's taking so long to get this trade done and agreed to, simply because the Wizards are looking to get some type of leverage. They realize they don't have anything, especially since Bradley Beal already gave them the okay for the only two teams he's willing to actually get this trade to, being the Suns or the Heat. And the Suns don't have anywhere near the capital the Heat have to offer, and they're trying to pull as much as they can from the Heat. But the Heat already realized that they're not getting that much from the Phoenix Suns in the first place. So there's no point in trying. There's no point in just waiting and just waiting for the Wizards to realize that, well, can't do anything else. Just got to accept what he gave us at this point, because nobody else wants Beal's contract. And you're going to get him with a no-trade clause. If anything, this new CBA kind of helped the Heat in this situation, because nobody wants to take on the contract and get screwed over for the next couple of years, with not being able to use your MLE, get buyout players, your draft picks being screwed up. And right now, the Heat are in a position to get rid of a couple bad contracts and still be under that second tax apron, even with Beal. So, oh my gosh. It's honestly just very aggravating seeing some people's take on what's going on so far. And I just hate dumb shit, bro. And what the Blazers and what the Suns are doing is complete dumb shit. I don't even know what they even think is gonna happen, because even then, who's playing defense on that roster for the Suns with Bradley Beal, KD, and Devin Booker? Who has any rim pressure on that roster that can get to the rim and actually pass out of the 3-point line, other than Devin Booker? And he's mainly shooting mid-range jumpers anyway. KD has no rim pressure anymore, at least. He can't get to the rim consistently. Bradley Beal doesn't have that much of it either. Like, even if you do surround them with shooters, how are the shooters going to get open when these guys can't even get to the damn rim? DeAndre Ayton, even in a pick and roll, the man doesn't have he can't pass a damn lick. He's the softest center in the damn league. So you can't even say, if you get in a pick and roll and two go to KD, two go to Devin Booker, you can give DeAndre Ayton and he can make a good decision, either to pass to the corner or be able to attack teams in a drop. The man sucks. Like, I just don't get what Phoenix is even trying to do. Like, at this point, they were better at keeping the racists at the owner at this point, bro. At least Sarver wouldn't have done some dumb shit like this. Genuinely. He was too cheap to do it anyway. And you're putting yourself at risk for this shit.
It's more than just a meal.
Hold on. Funny thing is, even with a good season, I really wish we had a stronger roster still. I think 2021 offseason was good, but I really wish we got Bill in 2022 offseason. Nah, not really. I'm okay with it being for this offseason. At least with the way the entire playoffs went, I'm glad it's this offseason. We'd have to give up a lot more for Beal than we did now, either way. And as of right now, Kyle Lowry's contract is a lot more valuable because there's only 1 year left on it, so it's an expiring deal. Victor Oladipo's contract is expiring. So I don't mind it. And plus, Duncan recovered all of the trade value his contract had with how well he played in the playoffs. So I don't mind it being this offseason. Let's see. I don't understand why the Heat going for Dame or Beal. According to me, they need to get a solid center, move Bam to the floor, and run it back. Okay. Ryan, listen. The reason you go and get Dame or Beal is because this team can barely crack 108 points per game. We can't even crack 110 consistently. You have a chance to get a guy that can consistently give you 25 points per game here. A guy that's also a really good playmaker. Better than Tyler. A guy that actually has rim pressure. And a guy that, yes, people can say he's a bad defender, but on a roster that's actually competing, he can compete on the defensive end. He's not going to be much worse than Max Strus or Tyler Hero. Hell, Tyler was injured, and you see what the Heat did with Max Strus in the lineup. Imagine what they do with Bradley Beal in the lineup. You can guess, you can try to go get a solid center and move Bam to the 4. But at this point, right now, the only guys that can do that is that have the shooting ability at the 5 spot is like Brook Lopez, somebody like Mo Bamba, who's the thought of him on the team versus what he actually is, sucks. Or who else? What's a 5? That Miles Turner and Indiana already looks like they're trying to get as much as they can for him, and we're gonna have to include Hero in that. I don't want to include our only big asset for freaking Miles damn Turner. And right now, I'm okay with Bam staying. I want Bam to be the 4, but I'm okay with Bam being the 5 as long as we have another playmaker and another scorer on this roster, and we have a solid 4. Right now, when you trade for if you're trading for Dame, you're gonna have to include Tyler. But if you're trading for Beal, you don't have to include Tyler, and then you can use Tyler to go get a 4 that can stretch the floor and at least allow and defend competently. Right now, with the way this 20 plus points per game, better defense, improved height, disparate. You're saying that like it's easy. What center in the league is giving you that? The only center in the league that's giving you 20 points per game consistently right now is Bam Adebayo, Carl Anthony, Nicole Jokic, and Joel Embiid. Only centers doing that consistently. Those are the only centers doing that consistently. So it's a lot easier said than done to go do that. And even if you're trading for a center like that, it's gonna take a lot more than Tyler here to go get a center like that. Like you make it sound like it's easy to go do that. Max doesn't want 5 more for 2 years. They've already said that the money that they could get this offseason life changing, and they already think the Miami, like they already know that they're probably not coming back. Only one of them is coming back. Max is upward going to get closer to like 10 to 15 mil per year. I'm not gonna lie. Like teams, be some dumb team that's willing to go throw him that money. Gabe wants that type of money, and I think the Heat are willing to give him that 10 to 15 mil per year for 3 years. But Max isn't coming back for 2 years, 5 mil. That's just not happening. Or the Heat are going to trade Tyler for a center when they're not going to trade Tyler for a center. There's no center on the market you can trade him for that's open unless Indiana somehow just wants to give up. Right now, Indiana already has too many guards, and I don't think Tyler here is going to be a center on the trade that they want to give up Miles Turner. So that's not going to happen. Most likely, what's going to happen is they're going to trade for Bradley Beal and not give up Tyler. They're going to use Tyler and whatever draft capital they have left to go over to Toronto and try to pry OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam from them at some point. That's literally what's going to happen. Wood is a free agent or get president. Fuck no, I don't want Christian Wood. Hell no, I don't want Christian Wood. You said stretch the floor and play defense. Christian Wood can't play defense. The man's horrible on the defensive. The man's a black hole on the defensive end. And plus, I think people forgot there's a couple times he almost got traded to the Heat, and every single time the man said that he's made it seem like he doesn't like the Heat or doesn't want to be here. Like he's a free agent, and that's another thing. We don't have the money to sign him. I forgot. If you can't even trade unless it's a sign and trade, and we don't have the money. We don't have the money to actually sign him anyway. So Christian Wood is off the damn table. His final performance definitely affected his big contract, in my opinion. It didn't affect it to the point where he's only gonna get 5 mil for 2 years. 2.5 mil per year is not what he's gonna get. It affected it, but it affected it from some team throwing like 18 million to him and more being around the 12 million mark now. Not that much to the point where it's that low. I would love to get OG too, bro. That's what I'm looking for. I can't wait for them to actually call for this Bradley Beal trade. Pascal of Miami and Pascal and Bam's fans. I forgot that they do have that little rivalry going on. I don't give a fuck, man. I forgot they even had that little rivalry. We're here to win championships. I don't care. You think Chris Paul we get him in a buyout on the buyout market? No, he's probably going back to the Suns or he's going to the Lakers, and I didn't even want Chris Paul. Please, no. Don't give us Chris. I don't want Chris Paul. I really don't. Sign and trade Strus to Orlando for Bol. I mean, that's you're under the impression that Orlando even wants Max Strus in the first place. And you're making it seem like Bol is on some crazy contract that they'd want to move off of him. That straight is not happening. Plus, Bol's already shown more than enough times that he doesn't have the motor to really be that great and to be that great consistently in the league or even the IQ to do that. Miami is the worst place for guys like that when they don't have the motor to actually work hard. Like, no. He had those problems in Denver in the second half of the season. You saw he barely got any burn, and you wonder why for a reason. There's certain guys that you just don't want on a Miami Heat team under Eric Spoelstra and this front office. It's not happening. What about Porzingis? I have no idea. Right now they're saying the Blazers want him. The Blazers are going to make an offer for him with a number 3 pick. We have nothing to compete with that. I'm sorry, we have nothing to compete with that. The Blazers want Kristaps for the 3rd pick. That's why I'm saying the Blazers are freaking dumb. But if the Blazers want to go do that dumb shit, we have nothing to compete to go get him. Shreese isn't good at. I'm not gonna say he isn't good, but again, yes, he shot the bed in the biggest moments of his career, in the biggest moments of the season, 2 years in a row. I can't look past that anymore. But he's not. He's not horrible. I think the rivalry ended, to be honest. Yeah, I don't see a lot of people talking about the Bam Pascal thing anymore. Pascal has his ring and he played well in the finals. Bam's played well in the finals. He doesn't have a ring anymore. I don't know. I don't think there's a damn rivalry. I guess you may see it when the Heat play each other or some shit. You see it once in a while, but I don't think there's a damn rivalry. You can't even compare their play styles. Pascal's the 4 that handles the ball the damn time and is a 3-level scorer, and he's nowhere near the defender Bam is. Bam is one of the best playmaking centers in the league, one of the best defenders in the league, and is a pretty good scorer. I don't know what people's thinking which one's better. It's just which one you'd rather have on your team for which skill set. Right? It doesn't really matter. Like it's not even comparable. But back to the Kristaps Porzingis thing, I don't even think we have the. We don't have the cap. If Portland's willing to do something as stupid as giving them the 3rd pick for that, go earlier in the stream. We already talked about Earlier in the stream, we already talked about how dumb Portland is for what they're doing. Is obviously in the thumbnail. But if Portland's willing to go do that type of dumb stuff, then we have nothing to compete with that offer, and Porzingis isn't coming here. I thought we may have a chance if we're not including Euro in the trade, if we throw Tyler in there and then we throw Jovic and the rest of our picks to try to pull him away, but no. Brook Lopez would be a fantastic fit, but again, he's a free agent. We don't have the money to sign him. It'd have to be a sign and trade type thing for something Milwaukee would want, which I don't know what we have when Milwaukee would want in the first place. And Milwaukee doesn't want to help a conference rival in the first place get something that would make them even better. To the team that just beat you in the first round, you're not going to help them get even better. We don't have the money. We don't have any money to offer anybody in free agency. Even if we did have our mid-level exception, which I don't know if we'll have it anymore once we get Beal. I have to look at the contract situations. But even if we use our mid-level exceptions, he's not going for $5 million. Like he's not. Like he's more than going for at least to get $10 to $15 million, even at his age on the open market right now. The 18th pick is a good spot this year. GG Jackson. I'm not gonna lie to you, the 18th pick is probably gone in any trade for either OG or Bradley Beal. We're not keeping that pick this year. I don't think we even should. Like we're not keeping that pick this year. I hope you know that. We're not. Not gonna lie, I'm surprised the Spurs tanked. I always said that Miami Raptors Spurs always compete no matter what. The Spurs just understood where they were in their in their overall rebuilding phase or in the role phase of their team. The moment Kawhi decided to actually force his way out and DeMar never worked out, they realized that there's nothing they can do to really compete. It's not like San Antonio is pulling free agents towards it all the damn time. So you just do what you have to. And the Raptors realize the same thing. It's a whole nother country. It makes it hard for other players to even want to go there. Not it's just a whole lot. The Raptors are doing the right things, and the Spurs are doing the right thing. The Heat, or at least the Heat, put themselves in positions to be able to get here. And to be honest, if they didn't get as lucky as they did with getting Jimmy Butler, we would be in the same position as those teams and where we're rebuilding right now. It's just the fact that we got Jimmy Butler and then he turned out to be one of the greatest playoff performers the game has ever seen for some reason. And then we've been in the finals 2 of the last 4 years. But if we didn't get Jimmy, we'd be in the same position as those teams were. If the Raptors kept Kawhi, they wouldn't have to rebuild. They'd probably still be going on trying to win championships now. It's just sometimes look at the draw. Bam at the 5 and the Heat are still small. I don't even know if the size sometimes is the problem with the Heat anymore with Bam. Bam's shown that he's a suitable 5 that can defend the best of the best. The only 5 that ever gives him consistent trouble is Nikola Jokic. And even then, the reason why the Heat lost so bad against them is because I guess Jimmy's ankle didn't have the same type of rim pressure. And we didn't have a 3-level scorer that can play make also and get Bam some easy buckets, i.e. Tyler Hero. I'm pretty sure if Tyler was healthy, we'd have a better chance in that series if he was healthy. We just didn't have him. So it was a lot harder for it. But the size really has never been a problem for the Heat this entire playoff run. We got rid of the Bucks, even with the size issue. We got rid of the Knicks, was a bigger size issue, and we're still able to do pretty well in the glass. Boston, people made some stuff about the rebounding, but we this out of those 7 games, I don't even know how many of them we got out rebounded. But the rebounding issue wasn't anything crazy with them either. The only time the size problem was against the Nuggets. That's simply because Nikola Jokic creates a size problem for every single buddy. You start looking at the Heat salary cap before you start throwing out these names. Exactly. Like we're already over the luxury tax, bro. The luxury is at 162 mil, and we're at 173 with keeping everybody that's on the roster right now. We only have 9 guys signed. Like that's without re-signing Gabe yet. Um, and that's without adding all of the minimum contracts we're probably gonna have to get to fill out the roster. Like our salary isn't looking too good. That's why the bill trade isn't the best thing for us right now. You at least get rid of Kyle Lowry. You get rid of Kyle Lowry's contract. You get rid of Vic's contract. Together, that's about 39 million. Get out. You get rid of Kyle Lowry's contract. You get rid of Victor Oladipo's contract. That really helps you in that sense. In this and Nikola Jovic, you still that's less money that you bring in with OG Anunoby, so it keeps us still under that second tax apron. That's the only way you can fill out this team. We don't have money to go out there and sign free agents or anything like that. Yeah, Spurs tank. I only say Miami won't tank because tried to make the playoffs. Yeah, we didn't tank those seasons, but we just didn't have a roster to actually compete at all. Well, we did have young players who tried to make them better. Justice was a more of an injury problem than a talent problem. I do think he was able to stay healthy. He would have panned out a little bit better. But even after he left, he's constantly had injury problems. It sucks for him, but it is what it is. It's a business. You move off of him. I think we should try to sign Josh Richardson free agent. We don't have money. We don't have money. I don't even think we'll have our MLE to even do that. We don't have money. Like signing guys isn't the thing here. It's just signing trades, but we don't have money. We're not signing guys in free agency, trust. Unless he wants to sign for the vet minimum. We're not signing guys like that. We don't have money. Like I'm telling you guys right now, if you look at the Miami Heat situation right now, it's let me go back and check it. It's Jimmy making 45 next year, Bam making 32, Kyle Lowry making 29, Tyler making 27, and Duncan making 18. Like that is that's one guy making over 40, two guys making over 30 in Bam and Jimmy. Then you basically have 4 guys making above 25 million in Tyler, Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler. Like it's our salary situation is screwed. Like this playoff run saved this team. Like it generally saved this team. It recovered a lot of trade value for It we're not saying we tanked. We're just saying Miami won't tank. That we didn't tank those seasons. We didn't. That's what we're saying. We didn't tank those seasons. We tried to compete. We just didn't have the roster to compete. But we didn't tank. And that's not where we never tanked. We're not saying that we did tank. Miami hasn't tanked since I don't even think you can call the year that we got second pick and use it on Bees as tanking because I'm pretty sure D Wade was injured the entire part of that season. Like Miami's never tanked in a sense. Like we've always try to compete and we just get lucky in the fact that we're really good. Uh, we're just a really good destination for free agents. Teams that come down here, and the culture is really good, and players speak highly of this franchise. And we're always able at some point to get that good free agent once in a while when we do have money to bring this team over the edge and actually make us competitive again. But we never have to tank. We can always trust the fact that the team's culture, the city itself in Miami, and overall just the pedigree of playing here and being able to constantly compete and win, always be able to bring in free agents. We don't have to tank like other teams. The Spurs, while they have the culture and stuff, people can't say San Antonio is that crazy inviting of a city to go to. And plus, Florida has no state income tax, so that's always a big thing for people that come here too. I think Miami will trade for Bam. Only if the package doesn't include Tyler Hero. That's probably most likely what's going to happen. Right now, the Wizards are just trying to use the Suns as leverage, but there's nothing the Suns can offer that can beat any offer Miami gives. Even the Miami pulls out Jovic out of the offer, the Suns still don't have anything to give. If the Miami Heat decides, you know what, here have this year's pick and then have 2027. What can the Suns do? Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and 2026 first round pick. The Suns can't do anything unless they want to throw in DeAndre Ayton. At that point, if they want to throw in Ayton, wallahi, have that. Because I'm not giving up Tyler Hero for Bradley Beal at that point when we don't have to. And if the Suns want to do something stupid in trying to build a super team or try to just stack the deck, because that you can't even consider that a super team. Just stack the deck when it's showing that you the last team to really win stacking the deck without it being incredibly overwhelming was the Miami Heat, and even then the Heat were overwhelming. Like to stack the deck, you're gonna need like two top 10 players in the two top 10 players in the NBA and another top 25 player in the NBA. Bradley Beal, I don't even think he's top 25. And Devin Booker, you can argue if he's top 10 or not. KD, I don't know why people keep putting him in those top five conversations, but that boy is not top five. I'm gonna throw again the link in because a couple new people are in here. If anybody wants to come up and whatever you gotta say. But we already talked about the Suns and the Blazers earlier in the stream. You can go back and talk and see what we have to say. But at the end of the day, to summarize everything, yes, the Blazers are stupid for trying to trade the third pick for Kristaps Porzingis because at that point you're just making the team good enough to fight for a playing spot because you're not even a top six roster in the Western Conference with that. You're not being the Nuggets. You're not being the Suns, Nuggets, Lakers, Kings, Grizzlies, or Golden State with that roster. Um, the Suns are stupid because you're basically giving up everything you not even everything. You're basically just stacking the deck with Bradley Beal, another shot creator that you don't need, another ball dominant guy that you don't freaking need. Um, and you now are filling out the roster with a bunch of vet minimums, and you still have DeAndre Ayton on your roster. It's a very stupid thing to do. Will Miami be a super team with Beal? No, no. Again, you need to have for a super team. You need to have two top 10 guys. Jamie is top 10. Bam isn't top 10. Bam's top 20 though. And you need yeah, this is not a super team. Beal isn't top 25. Bam isn't top 10. Bam isn't even top 15. That may sound bad. Bam is very, very good, but he's not in the top 15 category. Let's be real here. Like outside of the top 10, then you have top 10. Look at it this way: Nikola Jokic, um, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, um, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Shea Gillis Alexander, Donovan Mitchell. These are no after the top five. This is not in real order. I'm just spitballing names here. Um, yeah, but there's a lot of guys. Bam is in top 50. For a super team, you needed at least two top 10 games or a top 10 and a top 15 guy, and another guy that's top 20. We don't that Beal and Bam aren't those two. Like Bam is just really, really, really good at what he does, and he fits well on this team. Jimmy wasn't even considered top 10, so I don't think we're a super team. Jimmy's considered top 10. Jimmy's considered top 10 widely now. Before people were wondering if it's above Tatum or not. I don't think people are considering him above Tatum anymore. But Jimmy's around 8 on everybody's list, 8 or 9 on everybody's list. It's between him and Damian Lillard, but he's 8 or 9 on everybody's list. Everybody considers him better than Devin Booker, but yeah, Jimmy's 8 or 9 on that list. Wasn't D Wade, LeBron both considered top 5 in 2011? Yeah, we were a super team. Yeah, the Heat were a super team at that point. Wait, he you originally asked if we're a super team with Beal, but we're a super team. Yeah, they're a top 5. We're a super team. I don't know what. If we do go for Beal, you think Miami should go after Dame if he's available? If Dame becomes available, I don't think we can beat any offer anybody else has for him. If Dame becomes available, I think Boston very much decides that they're definitely trading Jalen Brown at that point, and that we don't have Tyler Heroes not being out that offer. If the Knicks can definitely go after Dame in that sense, and we're not being on any offer the Knicks have, because the Knicks have so much freaking draft capital. They have guys like Emmanuel quickly they can use in the sign and trade. Obi Toppin,
Um, Julius Randle, hell, if you want to get rid of him, yeah, we're not beating. If Dame becomes available even after we get Beal, there's no trade offer that we can give that can beat out some of the teams that are also going to be in the running for that, unless Dame just specifically says, "I want to be in Miami," and only Miami and Portland decides to oblige to that, which is dumb for Portland to do. We just won't have we won't have any of the capital that other teams have to offer for Dame. I know. I mean, that says it's crazy that we had two top five guys on the same team. I mean, the Golden State Warriors did it. They had they have Steph and KD on the team at the same time. It happens. It is what it is. Uh, at the end of the day, in 2011, you saw what happened when you get Bosh, Wade, and Braun. The entire roster filled that around it was absolutely garbage. 2012, the roster was a little bit better, but definitely not any much better. 2013, I think, was the best roster they ever had around that Heat team. Since you got Ray Allen, you had Mike Miller, Shane Battier. Um, but I don't think people remember in 2011 we were given freaking Dexter Pittman minutes, bro. Like, like Brendan Haywood, Dexter Pittman minutes. Like it was that bad around those guys. I don't think we were super team in 23 and 20% Bosch and we were not the same players. Also, it's just notoriety and names. 2013, I don't know if you're gonna consider them a super team or not. I don't really know. I don't really care if you want to consider. I would still consider them a super team. Yes, Wade wasn't the same. Bosch is still good as he is. He was just still the third option because it showed he went back to being close to Toronto Bosch the moment Bosch left, Brown left. It's just that D Wade wasn't top five and it wasn't even top 10 anymore at that point. But I think we were still considered a super team, especially with how we were able to fill out the roster around him after that. Like Mario Chalmers is still for what we needed a catch and shoot point guard, a catch and shoot point guard that can stretch the a catch and shoot point guard that can play defense pretty well and play make a little bit. Mario Chalmers is perfect for that. He was shooting 40%, closer to 40% from three with Braun there. You had Ray Allen there coming off the bench, that obviously one of the best three-point shooter of all time and in the league at the moment. You have Shane Battier, that was really good defender. It can shoot pretty well. Um, you have Mike Miller, that was a really good shooter at the time on that roster. Norris Cole wasn't that great of a backup wing guard, so we were definitely thin then. Forget what that those Heat teams had for a second, but you could say it. Kristaps need to up in. The Heat could trade a hero Duncan Kyle one first, let Max go, and that thinking is good if you consider that no other team is going after Kristaps Porzingis. Like I just said, the Blazers already. Hold on, let me show you. Let me show y'all the tweet. Let me see if I can bring it up. Because I think y'all think I'm joking when I said like the Blazers are absolutely stupid for what they're doing right now. I think it was NBA Central that posted it. NBA Central. I'm bringing up the tweet right now. Here it is. Um, oh shit! No. There we go. Save. Okay. How do you bring this shit into StreamYard? Oh, here it is. No, not new layout. Cancel. Shit. My bad. Hold on. I still don't know how to use StreamYard that well yet. Damn, my bad, y'all. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it in. I think it's add new. I don't know. Shift S. I can't bring it in, but if you guys want to know, it's the Blazers and the Wizards have discussed their trade centering around the number 3 pick and Kristaps Porzingis. Right now, we don't have anything on our own roster to offer that could compare to a Kristaps was number 3 pick for Kristaps Porzingis. So unless the Blazers just retract that and no other team is going after Kristaps, I don't really see a way we can get him anymore. Um, My thought was that teams really weren't going to be stupid enough to try to go trade for him at the end of the day, because right now you have teams that are very, very good in the NBA, and I don't think, other than the Heat, I don't see a team that's going to make an offer for that can make an offer that can make an offer for Kristaps that would like put them over the edge to beat teams like the Blazers, Lakers, Heat, Celtics, stuff like that. But I forget that the Blazers are stupid. But he's an expiring contract. The Blazers trade for him and give it the number 3 pick. He's gone next season because the Blazers are going to be a playing team or at most a top six seed or sixth seed, and then his contract's going to be up and he's going to go and get money elsewhere. Because unless the Blazers want to go throw a super max at him or not super a max contract at him, which at that point, do what you want, be stupid. I don't care at that point. I don't even want him at that point if that's what you're going to do. The Warriors also have 2 top 5s with a decent bench. Yeah, but the bench got gutted even more as time went on for reasons we all know. I think we don't get either Dame or Beal then pass going after a big man. The problem is there's no if we don't get Beal. We're getting Beal. Like it's already to me it's already a foregone conclusion that we're getting Beal. It just matters of how much we're giving up for him. Um, I'm not even saying I don't want to give up Jovic and since I want to keep him. I want to give up. I don't want to give up Jovic because I want to add him in a trade with Tyler to go get somebody else and sweeten the deal for somebody like Toronto for Siakam or OG. But like it's already a foregone conclusion to me that we're getting Beal. Like there's no other off. Again, we learned that it's only 2 finalists: the Suns and us, and the Suns have nothing compared to us. What the worst thing the Wizards did was give him a no trade clause. Like he decides where he wants to go, and if they don't want to trade him, it's a whole another year of having him on the roster and then winning more games than you need to, and not getting the picks you want, even further worse in rebuilding, and you don't have even higher another pick in what is now a generational and very deep draft. Like this year, he's definitely leaving, and there's no point. He's at Miami Heat. Like yeah, the Heat team's bench was trash, but people don't understand the other team Miami faced. Like the Bulls and Pacers were good. The Knicks could have been so good if Amari stayed healthy. There's a lot of things that happened those times that helped the Heat get that Heat win. Like we were down 2-1 to the Pacers only because Bosch got injured and Wade was pointing to an injury. There's a lot of things that happened with that Heat team where injuries kind of hit at the wrong time that made it hard for us to beat certain teams in the East. But the first year we're together, we walked through the East pretty easily. Even in the conference finals against the Bulls, beat them 4-1. The second year this team was together, the Pacers gave us a little bit of a scare, but that's really it. The Pacers gave us a little bit of scare. I mean, no, the Celtics, not the Pacers. The Celtics gave us a little bit of a scare, but that was the only team that was really able to compete with us. The Pacers were able to give us a little bit of a scare again, but again, that was because Bosch was injured and Wade was injured. Like the Heat team just deal with a lot of injuries back then. But if they're able to stay healthy, they would have consistently just walked through the East. It's not really that much. Blazers giving up a pick. We'll give up picks too. What pick is beating the number 3? We don't have a pick that can compete with the number 3 pick. We don't. We don't. We really don't. I'm gonna let it run it back. 17th to make the finals. I'm telling you right now, we're not making a run again like we did this year with this roster. Trust me. We're not making that same run again. Like this year was the one of one type thing. If you think we can replicate this shit again, you're nuts. Your question: why is the NBA so hard, good or bad, to let players drop away? Huh? The ND after 3 or less he drops you easy. Zion keeps getting hope, talent, but huh? You gotta rephrase that, my guy. I don't understand. Curtis Carpenter, you got to rephrase that. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm thinking maybe you're saying why the NBA just aren't willing just to let guys walk. It's because you don't find talent like you don't find talents like Zion. They don't just fall off a tree. Say what you want about Zion, but when he's healthy, he's giving you 27 points per game, and he's literally the best finisher at the rim the league has to offer. Like when he's healthy, he's insane. It's just the fact that he's never healthy. Nikola Jokic would be nice. Nikola will be nice, but he won't be Jokic, and I see him more of a scorer, so I don't think he's gonna pass like Jokic. Nobody's asking Nikola Jokic to be like Jokic. He's not. The peak for what Jokic should be in the perfect world where he hits his entire potential is a 25 point per game, 7 rebound, 5 assists type guy that's decent on defense, but nothing more than that. Yes, I thought we were getting Mitchell. Sorry, Beal is not coming. Salary dump Duncan and Lowry and sign a solid 4 or 5. You are a pessimist. The only reason why we weren't able to get Donovan Mitchell is because one, Donovan Mitchell contract was actually not that bad, and the Jazz just had way more picks than us. If I'm pretty sure Donovan Mitchell had a no trade clause like he did, like Bradley Beal does, he wouldn't have been in freaking Cleveland. Like he was in Miami playing with Bam in the freaking in the pro am type shit. Like he wanted to be a Heat or he wanted to be a Knick. Like if he had a no trade clause, the thing with Beal is that he had no trade clause. We already know that the two finalists to try to get him are the Heat and the Suns. Like, and we have the best offer for him. Like it's a foregone conclusion to me that he's gonna be here. Yeah, injury screwed us. No excuses. It's for the Pacers giving us a tough time. Yeah, I just don't want to tank all of our picks, man. We're not tanking all of our picks. We're not. Beal is most likely gonna pull either this. If most likely what Beal's gonna do is he's gonna probably take up the 18th pick this year, and maybe the 2027 one. But we have next year's pick. The Stafford rule stops us from trading picks multiple. We still have picks for other years. It's just that but we're not. Beal is not getting more than one or two picks, and and the 2027 is gonna have some type of protection on it just in case shit hits the fan. So right now it's just not gonna be. If anything, we are gonna use our picks again if if we get Beal and then when we get Beal and then we're trying to include Tyler in the trade to go get something like OJ Siakam, then you can say we use all our picks. But at that point, you have a team of Gabe Vincent, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, OG Anunoby, and Bam Adebayo is the starting lineup with um, Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, probably resigning Yurtsevin and anybody else you can pick up. That's the best team in the East at that point, and you can compete with anybody in the West. I think you still do that even with the picks thing, even with giving up those picks. You're trying to win now, and those picks aren't going to help you. As long as it's just not all of it for Beal, which is not going to be all of it for Beal. Donovan Mitchell wanted to be a Heat or a Knick. Yeah. Hi. So I meant was you always have teams and organization making excuses for reasons why players aren't good enough to get a longer career, but the NBA will push even if late. Oh, well, it's not really an excuse for Zion. Is that we've seen what he is when he gets on the court. He's good enough. He's really, really good. Like he's Zion healthy is better than Ja. And Zion healthy is better than Ja Morant. Zion healthy is the best player out of that draft. Zion healthy is a borderline top 10, top 15 player in the league if he's healthy. Problem is he's only had one season where he's averaging like 30 games per season. He has one season where he plays 60. His first year he only played 29. He missed an entire season, and this year he only played like 27 games. The problem is he's never healthy. But when you see him on the court, he's that good. But I understand where you go with other players in the league. Guys like James Wiseman, stuff like that are still in the league. People just they see potential and they're willing to give it, and the NBA is willing to hold on to guys. Plus, in the NFL, there's 50 guys on a roster, and you can find multiple guys to play a certain position in the NFL that's really good at any point. The NBA, it's 13 guys on a roster, and it's really hard. Right now, everybody's looking for the next generational center. It's really hard to come by a quality center in the NBA anymore. Off the top of my head, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo, Sabonis, Cat, Miles Turner, Brook Lopez, Nicholas Claxton. I don't know if you want to see AD as a center or not. If you do add AD, I guess, but that's 9 guys, 9 centers they can say are really, really quality in the NBA. The rest of them really aren't crazy. It's really hard to come off quality players, especially some of the legs of Zion's freaking caliber. Like, it's just hard to give up on guys when you see what they can do when they're healthy. Yeah, that's my point though. Just making sure it's not all in one play. Oh yeah, it's not gonna be all for Beal. Like the Suns right now, right now I'm telling you, Mike, the only reason why the deal isn't done yet is because the Wizards is trying to use the Suns as leverage to get more out of Miami, and Miami's not gonna freaking budge. The Suns offer is Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and the 2026 first round pick. They're not adding DeAndre Ayton in that. Literally in Miami, he could just make it Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, and throw 2 picks in, and voila, the Wizards have to take that. Like, there's nothing the Wizards can do other than accept the Heat's trade if they actually care, especially since they gave that man a no trade clause. According to BR, Portland is talking with. You didn't finish your thing, guy. But yeah. Again, I'm gonna throw the link again because there's more people in here, more names that I didn't see before. Anybody wants to come up, talk. Um, so far in this stream, we've talked about the Suns being stupid, the Blazers being stupid, and just the foregone conclusion that the Heat have Dame already. I know I have a lot of Heat fans here, and every single stream turns into a talk about the Heat, but I'm trying to, add new topics in there every now and then to try to not make it always about the damn make it about the Heat. It's an overall basketball channel. I just know I post a lot about them playoffs because we were going on that insane run. But if you check the channel, I talk about everybody. It's just that I'm a Heat fan, and that was crazy, and I just had to constantly talk about it because I was loving what was happening. But StreamYards, the link is in if anyone wants to pop up. I see a lot of Bucks fans even talking about they should try to go get Beal. And I'm just like, with what capital? With what capital? Some people just talk out their ass without even thinking anymore, bro. There's certain teams in the league that don't have the capital to actually compete with any trade offer that the Heat have. Even the teams that can benefit from having Bradley Beal on it just don't have the actual draft capital to compete to actually go try and get him. That's the whole problem here. That's the only reason why this shit's even dragging out this long, because the Wizards trying to find any suitor because they gave that man a no damn trade clause. Yeah, they stopped. Well, it's not even that they stopped. I'm just pretty sure Bradley Beal just said he didn't want to go there. Even if they didn't stop, what are you gonna get? Chris Middleton? What draft picks did the Bucks have to give? Yeah, so them trying to get him was the stupidest thing ever. Anybody else but the Heat trying to get him is stupid. Anybody. Because there's no other team you can go to where they're immediately a contender where it's worth even taking on his contract. And there's no other team that can give up. There's no other team that if it would benefit them to try and go get him would want to give up that much to get Beal. And if they did, they put their team in an even worse position where now they're not even competitive anymore than they were before. Like, it only makes sense for one team to try to go get him, and that is us. If the other team try to go get him, they're stupid. Okay, so how many seasons if a player is healthy? For majority of those, do you call for a player if he's not good? Oh, if they're healthy? If they're healthy and they don't show any improvements, what do you mean, like trade them or kick them out the league type shit? Because I'm not gonna lie, like the NBA, there's been more than enough late bloomers in. If they're productive, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about, let me know what you're talking about. If it's kicking them out, if they're just dropping them, they're not in the league anymore. There's a lot. You give a person maybe 9-10 years before you. I'm gonna say 6 to 8 years before you even pull that away. But if they're productive, it depends on what you're saying. If they're productive in the NBA, or if they're not productive, which one are you talking about? Not being biased, right? Just trying to make sure. About what? Oh, the Bucks trying to get Bill. It's not. No, I when it comes to the Heat, especially in these situations, I've been so desensitized to us doing stupid things sometimes, like not trying hard to get Donovan Mitchell. I'm not even trying to get hard, just us getting beat. Situations where I'm not always objective when I talk about these things. Like, it just doesn't make sense for anybody else to try to go get him because he doesn't push anybody else over. Look at it this way: the top teams in the East last season, the top teams in the league last season were Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Warriors, Lakers, and you can throw the Suns in there. In the East, it's the Heat, the Sixers, the Knicks, the Celtics, Cleveland. You can't even add Brooklyn in that because they traded everybody. So those are the teams. It doesn't make sense for the Sixers. It doesn't make sense for the Sixers to try to go get him because that doesn't push them over the edge. Basically, if you keep James Harden, you don't you'd have to include Tyrese. You have to include Tyrese Maxey in that trade to swing the deal for Washington. Even want that unless you're just trading them Tobias Harris because they don't have draft capital to try to trade for Bradley Beal. So unless Washington wants Tobias Harris, they're not getting it, or unless they give up Tyrese Maxey, which then makes Philadelphia Again, nowhere near as good as they would if they trade for Beal. Boston, you'd have to give up. What are you going to give up? Michael Brogdon, Peyton Pritchard, and one first round pick. That doesn't compare to anything you get from the Heat. The Knicks are the only team that can really go do that. But again, they're not in these trade talks. They set themselves in a position to actually have all this draft capital and all the salary cap to actually make a big splash in a gigantic free agent, not freaking Bradley Beal. That's the reason why they weren't including these trade talks in the first place, because they don't want him, especially with him having under no trade clause. And on the West side of things, it's the same situations with everybody else. So yeah, it only makes for one team, us. That's it. According to ESPN, Butcher was pulling it's on New Orleans about possibly trading Zion. That's a better option. That would be a better option if Zion wasn't perpetually always injured. I still for New Orleans is a great. I think it's a good move at this point. I think they're just ready to move on, especially with all the shenanigans and people saying he doesn't have a relationship with the franchise, especially with people making talks the moment he got drafted that he didn't want to be there. Like that was a problem. Like that he didn't want to be there in the first place. So yes, I think Portland. I think for New Orleans that's a good move to try to probably move off Zion at this point. But for Portland, it all just depends on if Zion's able to stay healthy. If Zion's able to stay healthy, great move. He's still young, and you're pairing him with. If at some point if you just decide to move off Dame, you're pairing him with Anthony Simon, Shane Sharp. Great move. But if he doesn't stay healthy, you swung for it and you missed. It is what it is. I think the safest move still is to trade Dame, but if they're still real about trying to build around Dame, that's probably the best possible move for them is trying to go get Zion if no one decides that they want to do that. And I think the only way no one does decide to just pull that trigger is on draft night. Charlotte is stupid and they pick Brandon Miller instead of Scoot Henderson, and Scoot Henderson is available, and Portland decides to pick him. That's the only time I think no one is going to be willing to make that trade. But if Portland doesn't get Scoot in that draft and Charlotte actually picks him, I don't think that trade's ever going to go through. If anything, I think the Wizards are waiting for the draft night to even try to trade Kristaps Porzingis to see what comes out around that third pick, to see if they can get Scoot for him. And even for us, we should not give up a lot because if we do, I will be mad. We're not going to give up a lot. Unless you consider Kyle Lowry, Duncan or Vic, Haywood Highsmith, a lot. Is it possible for the team like the Raptors to take a big swing for an experienced player like Damian Lillard during a rebuild? It's possible, but why would you want to do that? You don't have the roster to compete with Dame. You're putting yourself in the same position with your Portland's in right now. To make to make a big swing to even get Dame, you're gonna need to include like Scotty Barnes in that. Like you're gonna have to include Scotty and OG in that. Like some shit like that. Like that's what Portland will be willing to ask for to try to get that trade done. Like you're putting yourself in the same position that Portland's in right now. It's not right now. Toronto's in a good place. They're trying to trade. They're trying to get off OG, Siakam, and Fred VanVleet to go even younger. You already have a good young player in Scotty Barnes. I think people are just too fast to jump off the train for it with a okay second year. He picked it up on the second part of the season. I think people are just too fast to move off of him. You have young guys like Precious Achiuwa. You have a good pick in this draft. Toronto's fine. They don't need to go make a big swing for Dame, and they're not going to. Wizards would want Brown, not gonna lie. For Beal, they'd be dumb to ask for it, especially when the offers you're getting from the Heat are Kyle Lowry and shit. But yeah, you're not getting. Oh, hey John, give me a second. Let me finish reading these. Which is probably makes them worse. Oh, damn, there's a lot of damn. I'm sorry. I'm talking about is you're no longer valued at the top tier, a bench or trade bait or released. But that depends. Just because you're not top tier. If you're a bench player, you're still bench or a trade bait. You're still productive, and if you're still productive in the NBA, you're gonna consistently get contracts. It doesn't matter as long as you're productive and you're a team guy. You're still gonna consistently get contracts, and you're not gonna get released and kicked out the league unless you do something stupid. Some people think that we're getting both Dame and Beal. Those people are stupid. Yeah, Dame and Beal add Tatum to you crazy. all right. These comments are getting crazy. Hey John.
Fish Wainwright for Bradley Beal straight up. What do you think?
Huh?
Ish Wainwright for Bradley Beal straight up.
I don't even know what team Ish Wainwright's even on.
Ish? That's the Suns'
Huh?
second best. That's the Suns' second best
Oh,
trade
oh,
option.
oh,
I'm
oh.
poking fun at the Suns because they're offering a pack of bricks and some dirt for Bradley Beal, and people
Even
think
if
the Heat aren't getting him.
John. For everybody, this is my friend John Tortorelli, great YouTube channel. John Tortorelli makes good videos on also a good podcast that I'm consistently on. Haven't been on in a minute. In the Wise Guys, this podcast actually you can go check out that channel from right here. But
My bad, Mike wasn't plugged in until now. For the people that didn't hear me,
we all heard
Ish
you.
Wainwright for Bradley Beal straight up. The Suns' second best,
The
damn
thing
near
about
second best asset.
it's the dude from Pick a Side. You're getting recognized.
That's funny. Yeah, that is me. I'm the guy.
Yeah, he works for Pick a Side.
We're recording right now, actually.
Oh, really? The thing with them is right now you get another. The reason it's so stupid for the Suns is you get another shot creator, and what else? What else do you have at that point? Again, a team with no you have the same problem. They're trying to do what the Brooklyn Nets did, but worse.
I don't
Like-
think the Suns are really that interested. I think they're just kicking the can or kicking the tires, saying like, "Yeah, what's
Just to
the
see-
asset?
just to see what they can
How much
grab.
would it take?" And the Wizards are trying to leverage that to drive up the price from the Heat because the Suns aren't that stupid. Like, let's be honest. If they get Beal, they're going to have 3 players in the roster, and everybody else is going to be vet minimum guys. Bradley Beal's already injury prone. The end game is he's going to. You're a Heat fan. Your team. He's going to go there for the 18th overall pick, and worst case scenario, Tyler Hero too. And I think for you guys, it's going to be a
He's
great.
not going to be for
great
Tyler.
move.
Trust me. He's not going for Tyler. At most, the trade package I've been hearing, the most he's going for is Kyle Lowry, Duncan, Jovic, and Haywood Highsmith, and the 18th pick. That's the package I've been hearing everywhere for. And even then, that's just with the Suns driving up the price. Once everybody realizes the Suns are going to add Ayton into that trade, and that everything that he can offer is way better than them. At most, it's going to be maybe Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, Haywood Highsmith, and 2 picks instead of 1. Like that's literally going to be it.
This is how a star is supposed to request a trade. Get the bag, make sure you get the trade clause, even if you're the 30th best player in the association, and then Thanos snap the team to try to move you anywhere you don't want to go. And you cuck them by giving, pardon my French, 0 assets in the end. If they get 1 first-round pick for Bradley Beal, it is going to go down as one of the worst extensions ever. Because had they traded him 4 years ago, in 2020, they would have been getting themselves 3 or 4 first-round picks.
If they just traded him with John Wall, like it won't be a good idea for the Heat to for a non-shooting center, depending if you want it for a backup or not. But if you're looking for somebody to start next to Bam, yeah, you don't want a non-shooter. You have 2 non-shooters on the court, which doesn't work in the NBA anymore. I'm just have a lot of problem with a lot of people on my channel because people are talking about, the Heat should go after a center that can give you 20 points per game. How many centers in the NBA that can do that? Literally, how many? 4 or 5? Like genuinely, like I get it. I was on the train of go get a guy that can shoot the 3 that's bigger than Bam, so Bam can play the 4. But at the end of the day, the only guys that are in the league that like that are Miles Turner, Brook Lopez, Mo Bamba, which I don't want on this freaking team.
Steps
and Kristaps. That's another thing. The Blazers. I have a Blazers video coming out tomorrow. I swear to God, if they give up that 3rd pick for Kristaps Porzingis, they deserve everything that comes to them. You're silly building a roster that at best is the 6th best team in the Western Conference. You're playing for a play-in spot in the Western Conference with Kristaps Porzingis and Damian Lillard as your 2 best players. And then Kristaps Porzingis' contract expires next offseason, and then guess what happens after that? You're back in the same place you were before, just with less capital, and you don't have Scoot or Brandon Miller, depending on who you get.
No, this is good. This is really good. Don't prioritize Shannon Sharp because he can't be the 2nd best player. Let's be honest, Shannon Sharp, if he fully develops, could be the best player from the 2022 NBA draft. He can be as good as Paolo. If Paolo doesn't develop as a 3-point shooter, there's a world where Shaden is like Paul George, even more athletic.
That's another thing. I need to make a video on Orlando because I will praise him a little, but some people, when they talk about Paolo, I feel like they don't realize what he is. Like, he's as efficient as they come. He just has a lot of potential. But people are making it seem like this man is a golden God-given scorer already. He's really not at this point of his career yet. He still needs to. He's below average finisher, below average shooter, depth, below average playmaker, and honestly below average defender at this point. Like there's a lot of points in this game.
Hezzy though.
Huh?
He's got the tween hezzy though.
It just looks good, yeah, but he's not. He's not what people think he is. If anything, the player on the team to be the best player on that roster is Franz. Like literally, he has the potential to be the best player on that team. It's him. If not already, is him.
Yeah, I mean, Franz is a lot more on NBA ready, though. So I think in 2 years, it's quite clearly going to be the guy they took with the first overall pick. Now, when do you think the trade happens?
Draft night.
Really?
The Beal trade?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Within the next 1 or 2 days. Not going to lie. Within the next 1 or 2 days. I was thinking it more of I thought you were talking about like the Portland deal if they're actually stupid enough for the third pick. Draft night because I'm pretty sure the Wizards are looking. Not even the Wizards, but anybody they're willing to trade the third pick for are looking to see if the Charlotte is actually stupid enough to take Brandon Miller, and if Scoot's available, they're willing to trade a lot for that third pick.
You're on the Scoot train at 2 as well.
Yes.
I don't know what people are thinking. You can't talk me into Brandon Miller being the second overall pick. I'm making a video on it as well right now. It is the stupidest logic I think I've ever heard. Because LaMelo is one of the worst finishers in the league, but he's a great shooter and a great playmaker. You put the two together, and you have like the most redundant duo, more than the guys up in Boston.
The funny, I think that's another thing. I think teams like Boston and Toronto with OG and Pascal Siakam, teams that have a lot of these big wings, made people forget that the problem why these teams don't win is because these big wings may be great scorers or they have potential defensively, but they're just not good playmakers, and you need to be a good playmaker. Brandon Miller is just going to come in the NBA with the same problem, but the worst part about it is he's nowhere near athletic as those other guys either.
He actually got up, though, in his combine. He got up. But
there's a lot of guys with upper vertical ability. Freaking Luka Doncic has a recorded 39-inch vertical. Like, let's be real here. When athleticism like that, you see with the eye test, up and down speed, lateral quickness. It's not even just about how high you can jump; it's how quick you can get off the floor and get up that high. Also, like athleticism like that, you can very well tell with the eye test. And Brandon Miller does not pass that eye test when it comes to other guys.
Scoot does, man. If they take him at number 2, the GM's going to keep his job. If they don't take Scoot at 2, Mitch Kupchak won't be around much longer.
Okay, let's see. You heard Perkins say that Josh should get traded to Miami. I don't care what Kendrick Perkins says. I really don't. Kendrick Perkins he's just an airhead that speaks whatever comes to his mind at any point. Ja is going nowhere. Memphis is not trading him. I'm literally the moment the suspension was only 25 games, you knew he was staying. Like, and I don't know what people expected. I don't know what people expected him to get like kicked out of the league or like a 50-game suspension. You have guys like Miles Bridges that broke the damn law and actually beat a woman that got 30 games. Like, come on.
Adam Silver hyped it up pretty big.
Exactly, but you have guys that are actual criminals that got 30 games. For Ja to be out for a full season, he would have to bring that gun into the locker room and try to shoot somebody in the locker room, i.e. Gilbert Arenas.
Oh, right. Yeah, David Stern would never let this happen, but I want to thank you for having me jump on, bro. I've gotta finish this long, painful draft video, and yeah, I'm pretty excited for.
I recorded my Portland video already, and the more I'm listening to it back again, the more I'm just like, they can't be this stupid. There's no way they're this stupid. They can't be this stupid.
I had them taking Miller.
Huh?
I had them taking Miller.
Hold on.
If they're gonna play
this one. This is the only one that kind of makes sense to me if they do go after Zion, because Zion is still young and still has the potential to be great. The only problem is that he's completely injury prone, So you're just taking a big swing at it, which I think the smarter move still is just to trade Dame and move on with the third pick. But if you're gonna trade it for anybody, Zion is probably the only option that would actually make any type of sense.
Zion's the only player where this is kind of rude. He triples his points per game by his games missed.
Yeah.
Bro averages 26 a game and he averages 28 games played. Like, It's so painful. A healthy
Is
Zion
it?
season's probably not going to really happen though because of his style of play, unfortunately.
It's
And I
not
don't
the
think
style
people
of.
talk about that
It's
enough.
not even. It's not even his style. It's not his style of play isn't the problem. It's his conditioning in his body in itself that's the problem, not his style of play.
Maybe a
Literally, his
combination of both.
not really. I think his style of play is perfectly fine for his body size. Guys like Zion, the reason why he packed on so much weight is because his body literally requires that for him. It's not like he like when you see that when you see him go from high school to college, you saw them on a muscle he packs on. That's just natural for his body type. His joints in his body are actually acclimated to taking on that type of force anyway. So I don't think you're gonna have that much if he actually just took his conditioning seriously instead of going in every Instagram model's DMs. He'd be. I feel sure if he took his conditioning seriously, he'd be perfectly fine. And
I guess we'll never know.
at the end of the day, I do also think is the fact that he doesn't respect New Orleans as a whole, and he just never wanted to be there in the first place. Like I think when like that podcast that PG and DeMar DeRozan had, where they said guys that just don't love basketball, just are here for the check sometimes. Zion is one of those guys just incredibly talented that probably just doesn't care enough to actually put in the work to actually be healthy enough and work on his conditioning to always be ready and play well. I just don't think he's ever gonna be one of those guys. It's just that him
He's a
healthy is
finisher.
like a top 10, top 15 player in the league, which is crazy.
Yeah, and it's sad because he's one of the best finishers of all time, let alone one of the best athletes and paint scorers. I mean, he's a demon on and
He's
off
the
the
best
court.
finisher in the NBA right now.
Embiid.
Nah, I'm giving that to Zion. I'm not going with
No,
me.
probably Jokic. But
That's so
again,
crazy.
I got a dip. Thank you for having me on, brother.
No
Talk to you
problem,
soon.
Brody. Later.
Take a light.
Yes, sir. Uh, that was my boy John. Again, you guys can find him on his channel or his podcast is right here. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hour and 15 minutes is more than enough. I just wanted to talk about how stupid both those teams are. And then we got into like a whole 30-minute spiel about the Heat because we always end up talking about the damn Heat every single time, no matter if we want to talk about anybody else. But yeah. With that being said, look out tomorrow for that Blazers video. But with that being said, this is FLB. I'm out.